Sulhama Roshi Roshi Valumyan Pushi Madno Sulhama.
Nice to meet you. So I'm very happy and privileged. So I'm Buffa from Timeline. We are an English online news portal based in Kozhikode, Kerala. Okay. So of course, my first question is about Vadakkan movie. Your song is going to release, I think on February 28th, right?
Yes, I think that's what I hear. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So could you share your experience of working with the legendary Bijipal and Sajid as well?
As most things, great things in my life have happened, it was completely unexpected. Sometimes I feel like I am favored by the universe or someone, because anything that comes in my heart, it somehow happens for me. I didn't have to work very hard to get this amazing opportunity, but I did dream very hard for it. So, because it's been, a desire of mine to, really like. To kind of sing in a South Indian language, and then Kerala specifically when I visited with my band, with my cousin Zeb Bangash many years ago. So it just stayed in my heart, and because I was fortunate enough to get the visa a couple of times, I never let it like, go to waste. So if we had work or no work, I always used to go to Kerala. So that having been in my heart, I think maybe, a part of me manifested it or something. But I had a friend based in New York who introduced me to Sajid about the film. And I loved the concept of it. And, it was so brilliantly done. But then when I found out that I would get a chance to actually collaborate with the wonderful, musician and composer, Sir Bijibal, I was over the moon. And he was, but as it is with most people in South India, is why I also really admire them, is because no matter how accomplished he was, or how how well known he was so open and so easy to work with. I mean, he held his success and his stature with so much humility and kindness. And so it was so easy. It was very inspiring, working with someone like him, because he was open to collaboration, he was open to ideas. And of course, then hearing him put his final touch on it, it was really something amazing for me.
Okay, so I know it wasn't arduous for you to sing in Malayalam because recently I came across your video singing a popular Malayalam romantic song, Etrayo Janmamai. I was really fascinated to see that.
Yeah, it
How do you
was.
sing like that, with so much grace and ease?
I mean, it's not easy, but I think when you're very interested in anything, I think, the universe conspires to make it happen for you. But I'm just honestly, like, I mean, I wouldn't know the names and I wouldn't want to butcher them, but even in college, I would listen to a lot of Tamil songs, Malayalam songs, and some of my best friends in college when I came to the US, even though I'm from the northern part of Pakistan, but the friends I made were all from Kerala or from Chennai or from Bangalore. So I've always had this affinity. So I think maybe that's why, and I love languages, so that's another thing.
Okay, so you sing in many languages. So for us, it looked like I heard that song and I was like, oh my God, it's so good. How clear you sing all the words.
Thank you.
So legible. Okay. So
Thank you. I know there are some issues, but I'm working on it.
how does Vadakkan differ from other projects? Like you worked in terms of music direction, or what was it like collaborating with Bijibal in Malayalam? Because you worked in Hindi as well.
Yes. So, well, one big main difference was that, every time I've worked on a film song in India, I've actually had the opportunity to go and spend time in the studio, in that space, be one-on-one with, the team involved. But in this, it was all online, and it was, because I was traveling between the US and Dubai, and so there was no way for me to be there. But what was really nice was that there was a real sense of, family in it. Like everybody was very invested in the project, and the project itself. I mean, this particular concept is something. Yeah, this kind of supernatural thriller was very exciting to be a part of. And we ended up going not so much the Carnatic route, but it was also very interesting for me to think about those sounds, those ideas, those rhythms. So it was very nice, and also, like I said, it was very collaborative with Sir Bijibal because he's very very open and curious, and he really wanted me to come in my comfort zone and meet for me to sing to the best of my abilities. So we went through a lot. I sent some melodies over. He would fix them, put a little bit of his touch in it. Then we would send them back. It was a lot of fun. It was like working with a friend, really, on a project.
Okay, so who approached you first? Like Sajid?
Yes. So yeah, so Sajid and his team, we got to know about the film.
Cinematographer is from Japan. So, we
Yes.
were traveling all over the world to get some very good musician, artists, and everyone.
Yes, absolutely. It was just also, I really admired the spirit in which this film was being made because it was really like Sajid and the team were really making decisions based on creativity,
Mhm.
the like whose creative input they wanted. It wasn't so much about nationality or ethnicity or anything else. It was really, so that was also something so special because it really is, a South Indian film which is really acknowledging the talent of, it's an international South Indian film, I feel.
Okay, so your song Roshe was a powerful Kashmiri tribute in Coke Studio. So, what was
Yes.
the inspiration behind this particular song, and how do you handle topics as very sensitive as loss and conflict through music?
So I think that for me, Roshe was a very, very important song because I had heard it in Delhi. Um, One of the Kashmiri students who had come to see us at the Purana Qila in the South Asian Bands Festival, he had said to me that you using our instrument, which is the rabab, but you don't sing in our language. Can you also sing in our language? I said, what is your language? I didn't know you had a, because I didn't even know there was a separate language. So then he said, listen to Haba Khatun's stuff and listen to. So he introduced me to a few things. It's like wrote me some names. I did some research, and the first song that I found was this song, which I loved. And I didn't actually find the older version of it. I found it from a young, artist singing on the lake with a guitar, and I loved it. Then I looked for it, and then it stayed in my heart for so long. But I never got an opportunity to do it until Coke Studio came along. And that was also an interesting time of, like you said, conflict and all of that. And I think also coming from, a background which is also linked to, being Patan and Afghanistan and, having an affinity to that culture also. I just feel that sometimes when we talk about conflict or war or from whatever perspective we talk about it, but sometimes we forget the humanity of the people that are actually living there, and we forget that life exists with all its beautiful complexities, even in times of war. And love is important, separation is important, jokes are important, music is important, and they are lived. And so I think my biggest thing has always been to really highlight that through my music in an effort to really speak to the humanity of a culture and its expression.
Okay, thank you so much. So many of your songs feature elements of Sufi music, so like which has a deep spiritual connection. So how do you connect with that these spiritual elements when you perform them? I mean, live performance, concerts, and all.
So this is a strange question because like it's become a kind of a tagline like Sufi music, but like I don't look at it like that. So for me, music is music, and spirituality is spirituality, faith is faith, and Sufism is its own thing. And there are some amazing, people out there who are so spiritually elevated that we can call them Sufis, or that they have. I am not that spiritually elevated, but it's true that. Maybe I'm around a culture, or I have been exposed to certain musical forms that find their way in my expression. But I can't say that, there is any conscious idea of, Sufism in my music. I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I wouldn't dare say that.
So it's about music production because how do you approach the technical side of music creation? Because you have
So
directed some music as well.
yeah, so I mean, for me, I haven't done that many production projects, but because I've been fortunate enough to listen to a lot of different kinds of music in my life growing up, and then also somehow the way that my career has spanned itself, I've been able to work with musicians from different cultures. So I've been able to work a lot with, like, musicians in, like, say, Brooklyn, and in Turkey, in the Arab world. And so I think just by virtue of being in bands and being in projects where I've worked a lot, I think about genres a lot. And first I think about what the tune is trying to do, like the main sentiment of the tune. And then I try to, like, break it down on what kind of genres might, like, fit in. So that's the kind of thing I go for.
So how do you decide like which genre to explore next?
I don't design anything. I just go with the flow. Whatever, I'm always exploring. There's always something new that's catching my eye. I'm forever curious. I mean, I think for me, being super focused on one thing is a little bit of a challenge, because there's always something that's catching my eye, musically speaking. So, oh, yeah. Um, the one thing that I've been very focused about is just my practice, which is, my learning. But apart from that, I'm always interested, like a very greedy person. And so whatever comes up my way, like, so I allow the song to kind of tell me what it needs. Yeah.
Okay, so would you like to work with someone from India, any other artist in the future?
Of course, there's so many artists that I would like to work with. And also there's artists that I've worked with that I would like to meet again. And, we already have work together that I would like to finish up. So yeah, of course. I mean, we keep such a keen eye on everything that's happening in India vis-a-vis music and art and culture. So of course,
Because Indians are very connected to music, cricket and music. When someone comes
yeah.
from, then we'll talk about it, everyone will back to YouTube and listen to the music. So, okay.
Oh yes, I'm well aware. I've experienced that amazing hospitality and response. And I mean, any Pakistani artist that you speak to who has been visited India, they will tell you that, the kind of response and love that they've experienced in India, they would haven't experienced anywhere else in the world from the audiences. So this is definitely key.
Love
Yeah.
music. Okay. Then this is from one of your fans. Like, what has it been like to see the growing influence of Coke Studio and Pepsi Battle of the Bands on Pakistan's music scene?
It's been really, really inspiring, because it's allowed, so many different, I mean, it's really put us on the map as far as music goes. And I think it's also had a trickle down effect on artists that are not on Coke Studio. A lot of indie music has been able to thrive. I think a lot of young people have started putting their music out, starting, on Spotify, on Instagram, on TikTok and all. So because in the hopes of being noticed by these platforms. And as a result, even if they don't get on the platforms, they've really been able to harness a good audience for themselves and a good following. So it's really, I think overall, it's really been a moment of, it's really helped in our recognition and our growth, as a in terms of pop music and modern music, that's another thing, a caveat I'd like to put there. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily aided traditional music as much, but new expression, modern expression, all of that has really gone. It's a lot of, it's really grown. Sorry.
Given that you have explored a lot of various genres throughout your career, do you have any plans to collaborate with any other Indian artist? Are you on that road?
You know, like they say, right? Man proposes, God disposes. The plans are many. But you know, I feel I've become a little superstitious when it comes to revealing my plans of working with Indian artists.
We love
So
to
I'm going to keep. I'll just say yes, and let's hope that it happens.
Okay. So, okay. So how do you feel like growing in a Pashtun family community?
Mhm.
Because they have a very regressive thought when it comes to. So someone asked this when it comes to women and their empowerment. So how do you feel?
Well, I feel that they don't have a regressive thought clearly, and I'm
Share
a
testimony.
clear example of that. And I think, you know, in different political climates, you see different extremist aspects of certain um, communities come up. You know, it can be anything. It can be, you know, gender issues, it can be prejudice, it can be art related. But that doesn't mean that a society or a culture, especially one that is so old, you know, that is so ancient, and that has so many, that has the sites of so many ancient cultures, that is a place where so much has happened. You know, it's in our genetic makeup: music, poetry, culture, deep spiritual thought. I mean, you know, when you're talking about Afghanistan, you're talking about Peshawar, or you're talking about, you know, this part of KPK, or where the Pashtuns live, you're also talking about, you know, the center of the Kanishka's like biggest things. You're talking about, you know, ancient Buddhist sites. You're talking about ancient wisdom. You're talking about travelers, and also it's really about how you view a place. And again, this goes back to that question that we were talking about in the beginning, that, you know, when we're thinking about war and conflict, we, or a place that has had conflict, we get a little myopic in our understanding of the culture.
Okay.
But the culture is much larger than the conflict that has been, you know, put on it. I mean, I grew up, I got music from my Pashtun family. In my Pashtun family, I got all the support from my father, from my brothers. You know, my brother was my manager for the longest time. He visited Kochi with me. You know, so it's all linked to that. I never found anyone stopping me just because I was Pashtun or Pathan. And I'm not saying that that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm sure there are families out there that would never let that happen, but it just wasn't my experience.
Your album Chup with Hania Aslam received a great response. So how would you describe your musical partnership with your cousin Hania? And how did the two of this duo come together?
I mean, we came together when we were born because we were just, you know, a month and a half apart, and our mothers were sisters, so we kind of were always together. So, but I think the musical, and then we always sang songs together. Um, there's a brilliant musical composer and music director by the name of Suhail Rana from Pakistan. You know that amazing song, Aaj Jaane Ki Zid Na Karo? It's his composition originally. And so he used to have a children's show and children's cassettes. So since we were young, we used to sing those again in our home and then sing them for family. So we always had a musical connection. And in college, he went to Smith, I went to Mount Holyoke. We got together, we made songs. And then really, I don't know what happened. It feels like it was a big gift from God to have shared that with her. And you know, it's very difficult to kind of imagine this journey without her, but I feel so blessed to have shared all of these things with her. It was really magical. And to her as a musician, I would say, and I've worked with many, many people in the world, that it's not because she's my sister, but from, as impartial as I can possibly be in this situation, I would say that she really is one of the most beautiful songwriters I have ever come across. And she had an amazing knack of bringing so many different genres into one, very simple and beautiful melody. And it was simple yet complex the way um, she used to write songs. And miss her dearly. I don't know what else to say.
Thank you. So, Vadakkan premiere is slated for, scheduled for 6th March. Are you coming?
Yeah.
Anytime soon?
The visa is under process, so let's see.
Okay, so thank you so much, and I wish you
Thank you
all
so
the best
much.
for Vadakkan song. And yeah,
Thank you.
could you sing
Well,
2 lines for us, if it's okay for you? Not that
sure.
any song.
Anisa. Okay, so I'll maybe
Malayalam, I'll be
sing.
very happy.
Okay, so maybe I'll sing Roche since you guys talked about Roche.
Sure.
Sulhama Roshi Roshi Valumyan Pushi Vadno Sulhama Sulhama Roshi Roshi Valumyan Pushi Matno Sulhama.
Thank you so much for your invaluable time, and I wish you all the best for Vadakkan movie and song as well. And yeah, everything
Thanks
like
so
that.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wafa. Hope you go and watch the film, even if I can't be there.
Sure, I'm going to the premiere.
Okay, see you. Bye.